Hey everybody, welcome to Perfect Edition Comics. I'm your host Perfect. Today we're going to take a look at Jupiter's Legacy, which is coming to Netflix May 7th, 2021. While the intro plays, remember to like that like button and hit the subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Let's do this thing. First things first, let me quickly grab something to do a size comparison for you. So this is the oversized version of Wonder Woman Dead Earth, and as you can see, both of these trade paperbacks for Jupiter's Legacy are standard trade paperback size, or the size of a regular comic. Let's take a look at book number 1. So first of all, this is brought to us by Mark Millar, who is the writer, and Frank Quitely, the artist. And opening up to the first issue, you'll see that you have covers on the left-hand side for each issue as you go through this trade. Let me jump into the story for you. In 1932, Sheldon Sampson, a patriotic American who lost everything in the Wall Street crash of 1929, is driven to charter a boat to a mysterious island west of Cape Verde. All of this appeared to him in a dream. Believing that the island holds gifts that will mean salvation for a country needing heroes, he journeys there with 5 other people, including his brother Walter and his fiancée Grace, and some other old friends from college. What they find there turns them into the first 6 original superheroes. Then we have a time jump, and decades later, in 2013, conflict develops between Walter, who believes that they should be taking a more direct approach to ending the Great Recession, and tell President Barack Obama what he should be doing in his second term, and Sheldon, who is adamant that superheroes' moral responsibility is to obey the country's elected leaders. Sheldon and Grace, who are now married, are also troubled by their children Brandon and Chloe, who have inherited powers of their own, but instead of following in their parents' footsteps as heroes, they lead lives of celebrity endorsement deals, superhero groupies, and drugs. Some brutal violence and superhero infighting that's reminiscent of The Boys, political overtones from books like Watchmen, and the exploration of the superhero family gone wrong from Invincible. That's what you're going to get from this story. So let's talk a bit about the reading order. Currently, there are 4 trade paperbacks in print. If you buy these new kind of Netflix stamped versions, as you see in front of you, then Volume 1 and Volume 2 are actually Jupiter's Circle 1 and 2, and that's a spin-off miniseries that came out a couple of years after Jupiter's Legacy. However, in terms of the actual storyline, it happens before the 2 Jupiter's Legacy books that I'm showing you today. So Jupiter's Circle is a prequel, and Jupiter's Legacy is kind of the main series in terms of its publishing order. So if you buy this today, you can grab all 4 trade paperbacks and read Jupiter's Circle first, which is the prequel spin-off, which talks about the parents and all of their trials and tribulations growing up as superheroes. And then the second 2 trades cover the Jupiter's Legacy 1 and 2, which cover the kids growing up and dealing with the parents and all of that kind of jazz as well. Talking about prices, Volume 1 goes for $9.99, which is a great deal from Image. They always try and do that on their first trade of a series. And thereafter, the next 3 trades go for $16.99 each. For me, this is one of Frank Quitely's best works. Quitely is criticized, I think, unfairly by some fans as having very wrinkly looking art, but as you can see in his treatment of characters' faces and line work in these pages, he's actually very, very clean. But he still uses his intricate line work to bring an immense amount of details whenever needed. You can see in backgrounds like these the immense amount of detail that Quitely brings to each scene. At the time this was published, this was the first collaboration between Millar and Quitely since their work on The Authority, which happened in, I believe, 2001. And this is also Quitely's first long-form work with a writer other than Grant Morrison. Quite frankly, I was drawn in by the art of Frank Quitely and the popcorn writing of Mark Millar. These 2 pages are a great example of how Quitely just does storytelling through sequential art, just great detail in these cloud formations, and yeah, it just looks stellar artwork. To some, Millar is not the best writer, but I have to give the Scotsman credit. He knows how to get you hooked and give you a satisfying ending in the majority of his made-for-film and TV style comics. Let's quickly take a look at what extras we have in the first trade. Mostly it's variant covers in the back. They are full bleed, which is great, by a bunch of stellar artists as well. Here we got Dave Johnson, Phil Noto. We've also got Brian Hitch, who does a bunch of them. Of course, Jock as well. Amy Reeder, another cover by Brian Hitch here. Then, of course, Sean Phillips, who's famous for Criminal and everything he does with Ed Brubaker. Yet again, another Hitch cover as well. Loads of those through this. There's John Cassidy. And then we just have a couple of creator overviews. And then, as I was explaining earlier, there's a bit of an ad for Jupiter's Circle, the spin-off series. Let's jump into the second book. Show you the back quickly. Pretty basic design. Nice sketch on the inside cover. Credits page. And into the story. So the one thing I did notice about this, the difference between this and the first Jupiter's Legacy trade is the colors. The colors just seem to have a more painted effect, a lot more depth to them than the clean coloring of the first trade. The art's still top notch by Quietly, just amazing detail. These 2 pages show it off again. This is just stunning stuff. The high level of detail around the destruction in this one panel here. Great stuff. As I said, many people are critical of Quietly, but this is one of his best works in recent times. You've got these stunning covers as well. This one just really pops. Looks amazing. It's really great. Let's quickly jump to the back. Look at some of the extras inside of this trade. A few house ads again showing the split between Jupiter's Circle and Jupiter's Legacy. And then we jump into behind the scenes. So we got the pencils from Quietly along with the script from Millar on the opposite pages. You'll also see some sketches in the background of the scripts as well. We then get the transformation from pencils to the digital inking stage that Quietly does. Really lets you have an idea of what goes into his art. Stunning stuff. And then the overviews of the creators again in the back. And some house ads for Mark Millar's other works. Let's just quickly take a quick dash because I went a bit too fast for you to show you some more of the stunning art here. And although I've covered the criticism that some people have around Frank Quietly's art, sometimes the same can be said for Mark Millar. The only annoying thing about Millar's writing is he can get hooked on specific real-life pop culture or historical references. In this book, it's President Obama, which can very quickly date his work. The story is inherently timeless, but ever since his work on Ultimate X-Men, Millar has found a way to make things go out of date very quickly. So that's it. Would I say that Jupiter's Legacy is essential reading? Yeah, I would. I think it's something that's short and sweet, and if you want to read it all, you can read the 4 books available, or just the last 2 that are Jupiter's Legacy and still get a really fun read out of it. Amazing Frank Quietly art, and that's what drew me to the book. Was not disappointed. Millar hits all the story beats, super enjoyable, easy to pick up and read, highly recommended. And remember, stay perfect. See ya!